This is the drive home with TT with a preview for the upcoming football match. Yes, I did say football match between Millwall and Derby County. The return of the mighty Lions. And you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm getting excited. Yes, I'm obviously disappointed that we're not going back to the stadium. We're not going to support the lads that we'd like to, and obviously that's going to have an impact on the results. It's going to have an impact on everything, but we're 2 points off the playoffs. We've got a great squad together. We've got the best manager we've had in a long time tactically, even though we've lost Callum Davidson recently. He's got the players ready for the restart, and we've got probably the easiest running of any team left in the championship. So everything points to us actually having a playoff push, and I think it all really does come down to two things, and obviously both of them are to do with the players. One, if they want it, and two, if they give absolutely everything to get it. And I think if they do, which I think this bunch of Millwall players do, if they have that attitude, we've got every damn chance of making the playoffs. And you know, there's talk of fans being able to return in September. Can you just imagine the first game we get to go back is in the Premiership? And it sounds silly, but it's the start of a new season, really. It's a mini 9-game season where we're 2 points out of doing all right. We're 2 points out of the playoff positions, and we've got every chance of really pushing to go up. So I've got that pre-season optimism. Obviously, our last game out was against Nottingham Forest. A superb performance from the Lions, a great 3-0 win against the team that are currently in the playoff position. We play no team left in the top 8. And that performance alone gives you enough of an indication to go to see how we'll set out and how we set our stall out to really push the big teams. And I think Derby are currently sitting 12th. So there's every chance we should go there. We should play against them, and now we don't have to worry about the home and away divide. You know, it's proved in the Bundesliga that teams at home have no real advantage, and in a funny way, I think that does suit us. That even though we've got more home games, we can just tactically set ourselves out now to go for what we want to go for. And a lot of people would be thinking a 5-3-2 at home, or the 5-3-1-2, or the 5-3-2-1. Or even the 5-2-2-1, which we often played. It doesn't matter what position. Sometimes it would be seen as too defensive at home. Well, there's no fans to get annoyed about it. There's no reason why we shouldn't just set the team out to beat the team in front of us. And I think Gary Rowett's excellent at setting us up to match and then beat the opponents in front of us. Like I said, the last game out was the 3-0 win over 105 days ago, which seems absolutely amazing, really, that so much time has passed and we're resuming the rest of the season. But that's the way it is. And the last time we played Derby was obviously our second away win of the season. We beat them 1-0 with a goal by Tom Bradshaw, and Derby huffed and puffed in that game, but they never really looked like scoring. I do remember one of my vivid memories of that game is obviously Ben Thompson being absolutely crocked, breaking his foot, and the Derby fans getting on his back like he was wasting time, and then the ref actually getting on Thompson's back like he's wasting time, even though he just come on as a sub, which was a bit annoying. It wound me up at the time, because you could tell that Tomo's not one to go down, and for him to be writhing around in pain like he was, the attitude of the ref and the fans was not what you'd want to see from a player that's down injured. But that match just was a game where we took the lead with a great individual bit of brilliance by Bradshaw, and then, like I said, we set our stall out defensively, and we never really looked like getting broken down. And I think that it'll be pretty much the same for the game. I just think that we've got to take it to any team in the division now. We are, and we should be, favourites for every remaining game of the season, because we're not playing anyone above us. Obviously, we go into the game off the back of Jake Cooper just signing his new contract, which is an absolutely great signing. You look at Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson, Marlon Romeo, Bartosz, Biliakowski, all signing new contracts, long-term contracts at the Den, which is great business from us, and is something we're not renowned for. So it's a really good sign, and I expect all 4 of those to start. And you know, I'm not sure what formation Gary's going to put out. If you asked me, I'd probably start with the 5 at the back, with Bart in goal. I'd have Marlon Romeo as the right wing back, Murray Wallace as the left wing back, the 3 centre backs of Jake Cooper, who's been an ever-present in the team, Alex Pearce for that captaincy, especially against his old side. I'm sure he played for Derby. I know he played for Reading. I'm sure he played for Derby. I'm going to talk myself out of it. I'll go with my instincts. I'm sure he did. And Sean Hutchinson, the back 3. In front of them, I'd have Ryan Woods and Jason Mulumbe. I'd have, you know, if you have 3 up front, you need pace, which is the only reason why I wouldn't have Fergie, because I did like him at Forest. You know, the last game he played, he was excellent and really helped us defensively. But if we're going with 3 at the back, I don't think we're going to need that. So I would start Connor Mahoney left wing, really give him some confidence, let him take it to Derby, his pace on the left with Jed Wallace on the right wing. And then you've got to start with Matt Smith up front, who obviously you say in form because we haven't played for ages, but he's got 11 goals this season. Between him and Jed, that's 20 goals up front. You've got to, you know, they've made a claim to start every game for the rest of the season. I think it's going to be really important. You know, I'm going to I'll try and do a preview and a post-match reaction to each game. It's not the same as not being there, I grant you, but I'll break down what I think is going to happen and what has happened, because we're going to need our squad. You know, this is one thing where the strength in depth we've got in central midfield. I think Ben Thompson's carrying a bit of a knock, and there's one other player that's carrying a knock that probably wouldn't have started anyway. I think it's Aiden. But the strength we've got in central midfield with Ryan Leonard probably not going to start and looking good in, you know, he was looking good on the route before he got in. He was looking good before he got injured. You've got Thompson coming back from injury. You've got Billy Mitchell that's in and out of the matchday squad and may have to feature in this run-in. We've got strength in depth at the back. We've also got Tom Bradshaw that can come in for Matt Smith and John Daddy Woodfarson. So I think we've got a decent enough squad to, as long as we don't pick up any major injuries to our key players, the players that are irreplaceable, like Jed Wallace, like Jason Mulumbe, really, you probably, and Bartosz. As long as we keep those 3 players fit, I think we've got every chance. And like I said, that's my the lineup that I would go with. I'm not sure whether Mahoney will start under Rowett, but we'll see. That we can only see the lineup 1 o'clock on Saturday. It is getting so close, and like I said, I've watched the Bundesliga and seen the atmosphere. I've seen the Premiership last night and the farce that was VAR and Sheffield United being robbed by Aston Villa. But we've got every chance going into this game with the players. I know I keep saying it, but the players need to be up for it. They need to be just go, come on lads, we can do this. I think that if we have 1 or 2 bad results, it might go the other way. But if we have 1 or 2 good results, if we can start this run with a victory, you know, I know we've then got Barnsley, which is a notoriously difficult game for us, but we've got every chance to go. You know, you're looking at Derby, a team under Philip Cocu that have probably flattered to deceive. You know, they've not really hit the heights that you'd be expecting from a team that spend as much money as they have done. You know, obviously I don't think they've really recovered from losing their captain with all the shenanigans with the car accident, and obviously we've got Mason Bennett on loan, but I don't think they've really recovered from that, and it's not surprising, because that's a squad breaker, and that's something that if you want to have a successful football team, you want to keep your squad as tight as possible, and that must have made it as fractious as hell. Obviously, you look at their players, and you've got Tom Lawrence, you've got Martin Waghorn, and the one I am really disappointed, I'm not going to lie. I know he would have got a lot of stick, and quite rightly so, because it's Millwall, but I was looking forward to seeing Wayne Rooney at the Den, because he's an absolutely fantastic player, and although yes, he's right at the end of his career, he was still making shapes in the MLS, and he's got such a good head, and it's something that's underrated from Wayne Rooney. But his ability, his mental ability on the ball, and he is a game changer, and if he turns up and delivers, I think that it'll be something that our squad are not really used to, playing against a player of that ability. But if he's not right at it, if he's not at match sharpness, which to be fair I expect him to be because he is a professional, but if we can contain him, I think we've got every chance of turning them over. And then, you know, you look to the future and you look to and we can really do something at the moment. The ref for the game is Steve. I think it's Stephen Martin. Thankfully, it's not Michael Oliver after his performance last night, but it's Stephen Martin, who has refed us twice this season, and both of them were home wins. One against Luton, the 3-1 victory there, and the opening day win against Preston. He did award he did award Derby a last-minute penalty in the last game he ref for them. So, you know, it's hard to read too much into the game, but he hasn't. You know, the refs are not going to have our fans on their back, and that might actually help us because they're not thinking I'm not going to listen to the fans. I'm going to be deliberately against them. They haven't got to worry about that. They should just, you know, a lot of our games are on TV. They should just ref it as they see it. Put in your comments below what you think the score's going to be. I never predict the score because I think it's an absolute waste of time. I remember doing a video for a Nottingham Forest YouTube channel when he asked me the score prediction. I went, in the Championship it could be 3-0 to Millwall and it could be 3-0 to Forest, and it obviously turned out to be 3-0 to Millwall. But so put in the comments what you think. What are you thinking about the return? Obviously it's not going to be the same as what we're used to, but it's football. It's getting to back a team that are wearing a Millwall shirt, and when I get the chance to do that, you can't ask for no more than that. If you don't mind, drop a like on the video. If you're not subscribed, which you probably are, if you're watching, it's a little bit of a niche market at the moment, but football is back. Millwall are back. We're about 48 hours away and I can't wait. No one likes us. We don't care.